What's up, guys? It is Patricia from TarantulaHeaven.com, and today we're going to talk about something that's really important to me because it has to do with the representation of spiders in the media and in our world. So today we are going to talk about tarantula venom and how it saves lives and how tarantulas are so useful in the medical field. If you're new here, my name is Patricia, and I put out videos every single week on Tarantula Tuesday, so if you were into that, please subscribe. I share tarantula facts, my own observations about tarantulas, and fun tidbits like this where we talk more about tarantulas and how they pertain to the world around us. So as tarantula owners, we know how wonderful these creatures are, and we love every single part of them, even tarantula venom. And while the rest of the world might be terrified of spiders and tarantulas, they're probably going to change their mind after they watch this. Tarantulas and their venom is actually being used tons in the medical field and has some really amazing implications. It actually has a lot of life-saving properties. If you have any arachnophobic friends and family members or loved ones, this is the video to share with them because it really shows that tarantulas can save lives. Now, there has been other things about tarantula silk, like their webs and what kind of implications that has for other uses in our world, but tarantula venom in particular has quite profound use in the medical field. It's been studied and used in developments that involve things like painkillers, chronic pain management, medicine, and muscular dystrophy. So one of the biggest implications is for painkillers. Toxins in tarantula venom can actually be used as powerful painkillers that are natural. And this is really important because right now there is an opioid crisis. Due to the really addictive properties of opioids, scientists are trying to find more natural methods to use for painkillers to get away from this kind of stuff, specifically for things like chronic pain. This is a really big thing. A lot of people don't even like taking these painkillers because of their addictive properties. So if we could use tarantula venom to find a better, different way, this is huge. Turns out those toxins in tarantula venom might actually be more effective in pain management anyway. 100 million Americans struggle with chronic pain. It's probably even more than that. So this is major. I want to read a passage from, Science Daily that describes how this works. So millions of people live with chronic and neuropathic pain in large part because certain treatments and current treatments often provide limited pain relief, use a heavy profile of soporific side effects, and can be extremely addictive. And as I work in mental health as a therapist, this is something that we're worried about all the time. Researchers around the globe are chasing down potential new therapeutic agents and working to gain a better understanding of how molecules with painkiller activity function. This will lead to alternative painkillers and possibly improve the quality of life for people who suffer with chronic pain. If you suffer with chronic pain, you know how debilitating it can be physically, but also for your mental health too. At the Biophysical Society's 60th annual meeting held in Los Angeles, California, a group of researchers from the University of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia, will describe their efforts with POTX2, a peptin toxin found within the venom of the Peruvian green velvet tarantula. Its high potency and selectivity to inhibit the pain sensation receptor make it an ideal candidate as a future painkiller. It works like this. It binds to the pain receptor located within the membrane of the neuronal cells, but the precise peptide receptor binding site and the importance of the cell membrane in the inhibitory activity of POTX2 is unknown. So it's being explored. Now that was back in 2016. That was really one of the biggest articles I found about it, so I'd be curious to know what it's like now. I couldn't really find much more on it, but I'm sure that more advancements have been made. In the same vein, tarantula venom is also doing a lot of important work in pain research. Wired.com reported, venoms are especially useful for pain research because they're filled with hundreds of toxins designed to bork nervous systems of all kind, combined and owned over millions of years. Many of these toxins are knotted strings of amino acids that nestle into some specific nook of a pain receptor, a terrible case of things fitting perfectly into other things, but useful for pinpointing locations on nerve cells that feel certain types of pain. Dr. Julie K. Clint of the Institute for Molecular Bioscience said, "Untapping this natural resource of new medicines brings a distinct hope of accelerating the development of a new case of painkillers that can help people who suffer from chronic pain that cannot be treated with current treatment options. And then one of the last things that I read was tarantula venom's impact on muscular dystrophy, which is also pretty remarkable. This involves the venom of a Chilean rosehair, and it turns out that this tarantula has a special protein that could help treat muscular dystrophy by preventing or slowing down the deterioration of muscles. This is huge because this could really impact children. Muscular dystrophy impacts far more young boys than anybody else, so this could definitely save a lot of children. Frederick Sachs, a professor of physiology and biophysics, had purchased a Chilean rosehair, which was called Rosie, and she was his laboratory pet for 20 years. And this is the tarantula that aided researchers in learning how they might be able to use venom to suppress diseases such as muscular dystrophy, because the venom has a protein that kept the ion channels that impact muscular dystrophy shut. So that is amazing news. So considering that we know these things, why isn't it bigger news? And I thought this was very, very interesting in my research. So it turns out that Sachs and his research team and scientists actually tried to get this more mainstream, tried to get the tarantula venom more mainstream. And he published their findings. So what happened was Sachs called pharmaceutical companies to see if any were interested in developing the protein into a drug. Several firms invited him to present his research group's work. Years passed, however, and none of the businesses followed through with funding. That's really sad, and that's probably why this isn't more common knowledge and why there haven't been more articles being written about it. So unfortunately, I guess there's not much support otherwise, but we're still doing more research on tarantula venom, so that's really great. And it seems to be having some really, really big implications. And in another article by livescience.com, I just quickly read that spider venom has other uses too. It's currently being explored for treatments for cardiac issues, as well as spinal cord damage and other conditions such as erectile dysfunction. So this is all very, very interesting. If you want to read any of those articles to get more in-depth information, I do have a blog post that's connected to this video that's in the description. If you go to that blog post in the description, you'll be able to get links to all the studies that I've found, read more in depth about it, as well as watch several really great videos about the things that I've said that kind of talk about how tarantula venom is being extracted, how it's being used for chronic pain, painkillers, and muscular dystrophy. So this is all really amazing, very, very exciting info. I hope that this gains more attention, and I hope that more studies are done. And I also hope that pharmaceutical companies take it seriously. I mean, I don't think there will, and I think that there was probably resistance because of like big pharma as a business, but it's really sad that we have these debilitating conditions such as chronic pain and muscular dystrophy and things like that that are not being healed or given attention to when we have natural things that might actually work. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you know any other information about how tarantula venom is useful in our world, please share, because I think that this information in particular really can help people open their eyes and see the usefulness in these creatures and allow them to look at them as more than just pests or scary things, because tarantulas are incredibly useful. And I know that you guys know this because you guys are on my channel and you're tarantula lovers and owners, but I think for the rest of the world, it's important to know just how important these creatures are. Anyway, let me know what you think about that info. And if you watch the videos on my blog post, let me know what you think about those, because there's some really, really good ones in there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.